What are you going to name my son after the player Donovan, Landon Donovan?
Oh yeah, I love Donovan. Yeah. He's a great player, great guy too.
He's a classic player.
Not having, I've been meaning to, but
Yeah, well, you should.
Pulisic's really good guy. He's
Yeah.
He's a future.
He's a young guy.
all right, guys, welcome. My name is John, or I go by JR, and I'm the sales manager for Industry. And welcome you guys. A new, exciting opportunity basically you guys all have. I do want to, if you guys can just real quickly your name and where you come from, not state, but just where you come from, what industry you came from, if you can give us before.
My name is Arlene Salcedo. I came from Dental.
From Dental. Oh, okay, cool. Nice. Welcome. All right, so Arlene, okay.
My name is Wayne, Wayne Neal, and I come from a nonprofit local politics background.
Okay. Sounds good. You said Wayne?
Yeah.
Wayne, okay.
Hi, my name is Jake. Came from
Oh, you sold printers? Oh, you did, okay. And that's Jake?
Yeah.
Jake, okay. All right, and Evan?
Oh,
Same
sorry.
thing, just so they can.
Oh, yeah, my name is Evan, and I just moved here from Colorado 3 months ago. I had my own construction company for 18 years, and prior to that, I was a sales training manager, and that's it. There I am.
Welcome.
Hi, my name's Kaya, and I came from the solar industry.
My name is Stan. I come from e-commerce industry. I had my own business for 15 years, selling stuff online, and here I am.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Michael. I came from the legal field. I've been a football and lacrosse official for quite some time now, and which is fun, but the legal field is not fun. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. Sounds good, thanks. What's your name again?
Michael.
Michael.
Good morning, I'm Kevin Clark. I come from sales and insurance and also solar background, so welcome.
Hello, my name is Manuel Campos, and I come from, I'm a manager at automotive repair shop industry.
My name is Sterling, and I came from technical sales and account management, account executive, more towards surveillance camera systems, that sort of thing, yeah.
My name's Chuck, and I came from the bar industry.
Watch out for this guy, man. All right, so I do wanted to ask, I know Chuck, I know Kevin, and Kaya and Evan. Actually, Kaya and Evan been on the field last week, but I did want you guys to maybe give a little advice. You guys trained last week, something that would be helpful for them to say, you know what, hey, take as many notes or whatnot, but you know, maybe some advice in regards to this week's training, like what to look for, what to do, something that can help, that you could have done different, maybe, you know. But any advice you want to give these guys before you get started?
You want to go? Do you want me to go?
Yeah, I mean, basically there's 6 products that we have, environmental green products, and there are 4 cases that we go over here in the training with how we make a presentation and who our company is, which is an amazing story, and how we are so different from anybody else in many ways. But really just taking good notes on the product, mainly, and you know, feeling the confidence that you can get out there and meet with people and, you know, show what we have. Yeah.
Sounds good, thanks. How about you, Kaya?
I would say more so than the product information, I would emphasize on connecting with your customers when you walk into a home. And yeah, I mean, you'll realize that 90% of the sales actually getting to know your customer and yeah, just relating to them and bonding with them on a personal level, and getting them to trust you, and yeah, just genuinely caring about them, and they'll see that, and if you know you're not genuine in the way you talk to them or whatever, they'll definitely notice, and but yeah, so just get to know your customers, and you know that's 80% of the deal.
So I know you guys went through, I mean, some training all week.
Yeah.
And end of the week, you guys had to actually do a presentation and kind of report. So what can you learn? What can you advise them to do to make sure you guys are more prepared or more ready when that comes up? Kevin?
I would strongly recommend to take good notes, and you have a device on your phone to record the training, and just remember that we're in an industry that you have to have kind of a passion for, because we actually are changing the world, and we're helping other people change the world too. So if you can just kind of have that mindset, and if you guys have worked in like solar industry before, just kind of put that in the back burner and brace for something new. So.
Chuck, anything? I know you,
yeah.
you missed a couple of times, right?
Yeah, I wasn't here Friday. I had to work at my
Friday
other
was
job.
your, yeah.
The videos really helped me. I would watch the videos once you get hooked up on Slack. But also, and JR will mention this, it's about helping people. If you go in, I haven't been in yet, so I haven't been able to apply what they've been talking about. But if you go in with the mindset that I'm here to help someone, then it's going to come off a lot better than I'm here to try to make 10% commission. So, which is easier said than done, I'm sure, but if you just got to think that way. You're there to help somebody instead of sell something, and that'll come off.
Yeah, thanks, appreciate it. One of the things that I want to mention real quick before we start, and the reason I wanted to ask their feedback on this and their input on this is because the business that we're in, we're not there for, when you have an appointment at your customer's home, you're not there for half an hour, you're not there to give them a quick bid. You're there for 3-4 hours, minimum. I would say 3 or 4 hours is the average that you would be in a home. Sometimes I've been in there 5 hours, 6 hours. My last sale that I got, I made $7,000. I was there for 4 hours. So you do the math. I made $7,000 being there 4 hours. What's the hourly rate? Pretty good, right? I don't think you can go anywhere else. Only 15 years of schooling, maybe, possibly, hopefully make that much hourly. So the money is there, you can make it, but also it does take a lot of mental, spiritual, emotional type of care, self-care. It just does. Because after 2-3 appointments, after a week or 2-3 weeks, it can wear on you. I mean, it will. I mean, I take vacation every 3 months. I have to. I just got a quick getaway for the weekend for 3 days. You have to. But you're able to, which is a good thing, right? You're actually able to. So one thing too as well, make sure that you audio record. That's what I wanted them to give you their advice, because there's so much that goes into it. But once you're actually with the presentation, there's no one and this is not a bad thing, but just to mention, they missed a lot of the phases and the actual presentation, because there's a lot of info, and if you don't write it down, if you don't record it, how can you go back and replay it and hear it and practice it? You have to practice it. You can make money quick. You can make that income that you need as fast as possible, but it's really going to be up to you how much work you put into it when you're not here, when you're at home. The first 3 months, I was every night for 3 hours, I was studying, going over the training, just going over everything. After night, role playing it by myself. I'll walk around at nighttime, kitchen area, just walking back and forth, just talking out loud, role playing out loud. Because when I was at a customer's house, I did not want to forget a step. And we're going to cover 4 different steps, 4 different phases that need to be part of your presentation to build value, to make connection, and to ultimately build the trust with your customer, so that way at the end you have a customer that says, yes, I want to move forward with you, versus let me think about it, versus let me get another bid, right? Because they're shopping, right? I'm sure you guys, when you go buy something, you shop, right? You want the best deal. So how do you separate yourself from everybody else right? And be able to make that type of income that you wanna make. But most people that don't make it in this business is because they take shortcuts in their presentations. They allow the customer to control the outcome, right? Control basically the way it's gonna go, and then you skip a step, and you didn't create enough value. So you have a customer who's not certain, who wants to think about it, and so needs to shop around. So make sure you take a lot of notes. They kind of know me by now, I think. I mean, I'm pretty mellow, down-to-earth guy. You probably never heard me scream or yell, or I'll treat you I'll treat you with value, because we're all valuable, right? I want to be treated that way. I treat everybody else that way. But at the same time, I do want to mention, if you're not taking notes, if you're not audio recording this or video recording this, don't waste your time. Just walk out the office and don't come back. Like, that's like the one thing I want to mention. Like, don't waste your time. You're not wasting money, because no matter what, I'm making money no matter what. It'll be okay. Just don't waste your own time. Just walk out of that room and don't come back. You know, take this very serious. I did want to mention real quick just about what I do, my background real quick. I've been doing sales for 21 years now. Started in the fitness industry. I did that for about 6 years. I managed 24 Hour Fitness. I managed LA Fitness. That's where I learned majority of all my sales. Our whole training department was actually Tom Hopkins designed our training for sales for 24 Hour Fitness. So I know every technique, every type of sales, type of closers out there that is available. For me myself, I'm not this loud guy. I'm more soft, but it's all about voice inflection. And that's one thing I learned through this Tom Hopkins. Is really just the voice. It's not what you say, how you say it, and the tone and the inflection of your voice is powerful. So I did that. I did mortgage after that. I left that mortgage for about 6 years as well. Did that for a long time. Did really well, and then went to tax and mediation. Owner of the company, Mike. I've known him for about 11 years now, almost. Been working with him for 11 years now, and I've been in home improvements for 2.5 years. The reason why I show this portion of it, because when I came to home improvements, I did not know anything about construction. I worked in an office all day long with AC. I never actually picked up a hammer. So I had no idea about the business. You asked me how to probably frame something, I probably will have to try to figure it out. I wouldn't know how to do that. You know what I mean? That just wasn't my, my thing. So one thing, all I knew, I told the guys, all I knew was what a hammer and what a nail was. That's all I knew. In a month and a half, 6 weeks, I made $16,000 in this business. My second month, I averaged about $250,000 a month. At 10%, you do the math, what that number looks like. That was my average, $250, $280, $250 a month for the next 12 months. That was my average. You see a lot of guys here that you see King of the Month. Sometimes they sold 300, 350, 500 sometimes, and they'll have a month at 50,000, 250, 80,000. I was never King of the Month, but I consistently sold an average $250,000 a month. That was my average. I share that with you guys. Now, if you hit $1 million, you'll see $1 million fundings. We call it, you become an ORCA basically. But these are funded deals, not just they signed up and canceled. These are actually funded deals. In 6 months, I funded $1 million. In 12 months, I funded $2 million. Took about a month, a year and a half, I funded $2 million. And the reason why, because I moved from sales to project management. Because I was in the field all day long, I was feeling a little burned out. I'm like, I need to switch. I need to switch. I need to kind of clear my head for a minute. You can make a lot of money, but I need a little break. So you might be like, what are you talking about, man? You should be wanting to, keep doing it. But I switched to project manager, help the department. They needed help. I came to this department. I still average the same. Average project manager, I think I average about $3,000 to $5,000 a month. I average about $25,000 a month as a project manager. So the opportunity is there. You guys can do it. And I share this with you not to kind of, brag about my earnings, but it's more about that it is possible. You can do it. It's available to you. The opportunity is there. It's just really up to you. But one thing that separated me from a lot of people was that I treated it like this was my school. Not for 1 year, not that I have to study for 6 months or a year, go back to school for 2 years. Is I was gonna invest as much time as I could right away, immediately, so that I can earn the income that I need to earn. You know, so take a lot of notes, make sure you go back and replay all the notes, and I'm gonna go through some steps of the actual training. Today is gonna be phase 1, basically making the connection. But I'll tell you one thing about this connection process, is that it can sound simple, it can sound like you've heard it before, it can say, oh, I've done it, I know how to do it. But once you're actually out in the field, that's the first thing you miss out, you don't do it. The most important step is the connection process, and we forget to do that process. Customer asks for a bid, and you'll say, okay, you know, yeah, it's gonna be $20,000, you know, and never made a connection with the client. So that's gonna be very important. The phase 1 is gonna be basically making the connection. For you guys, it's good to be here still, because you need to keep hearing this again over and over and over again, and also practice it when you're not here on the field. So yeah, so 2.5 years. I think now I'm at $3 million. I haven't checked my numbers, but I think I'm at $3 million in 2.5 years. Wow. I think like $3 million now. You know, and I'm not in the field as much right now because I'm training. But when I'm out there, if I get to appointments, I probably have like a 80% closing ratio. You know, I mean that's last week I got 2 appointments. I closed 4 appointments. I sold over $90,000 with 2 appointments. You know, so the money is there, but I can do that. I can train. I can go out in the field, right? You know, my owner of the company. I tell you this right now. The owner of the company. I could have received a percentage from you, but I go, I don't want that. I can make my own money. I can go out there a couple times a week, and I can make more than getting my small cut from you. And I'm someone who likes to rely on others to have my earnings. So I just do this because I believe in the company. I believe what we do, and I know that I can help somebody else out. And I showed this before. We have a guy in our company too that you see it, you would think like, how can he sell? You know, but even for me, if I can do it, you guys can do it too. But it's really up to you. You know, it's really up to you. So the first step we're gonna talk about, one of the things I wanna mention first is, what's amazing about home improvements is that when homeowners, anybody a homeowner here? Raise your hand. Okay. So when there's an improvement, there's a number of ways that you can, there's a number of ways that you can pay for these improvements, right? Typically, you either have to refinance the home, right? Pull the money out. That's one way you can do it, right? And then when you do that, refinance the home, you kind of starting over on your mortgage again. You kind of buying the house, basically. Refinance, that's a little bit better, but you're purchasing the home, right? Second option is you pull from your 401ks. If you have 401ks, you pull from your 401k to do the improvements. Third option is you can go to annuities, or you can go to a credit union, right? Get a private loan. You can do that too as well. What we offer a number of, we have over 20 type of finance options where the customer does not have to refinance. The customer does not have to touch their savings. They don't have to touch their reserves. If they qualify and get approved, it'll fund the project, it'll cover the roof project up front with no money out of their pocket, and then select a low monthly payment to pay over time. Without refinancing, without pulling from annuities. Because if you refinance the actual home, what happens when you refinance a home? I want to ask some of the homeowners here, what happens?
You better put something down. Put something down.
So you refinance a house, your mortgage payment is going to go up, right?
Right.
You're pulling the money out, right? And even as you pull that money out, there's another thing that happens too. Your property taxes go up as well. And then if you've been there for 5 years and you just refinance a house, you just restart it over again. Unless you can shorten the term, you just restart it on your entire 30-year loan mortgage. That's typically what's the benefit of that? There's really no benefit outside of you just getting the money to do the improvement. So the finance options that we have to offer, and we'll go into detail about it later phases, you don't have to touch your home. You don't have to pull money out of the 401k or annuities and have to pay Uncle Sam after you pull the money out. Because that's what you do, right? I pull my own money out, right? My income goes up, and now I'm paying higher taxes. So then you're paying Uncle Sam when you need the money to use it for your home. Our financing, you don't have to do any of that. If you qualify, there's certain components that will determine the qualifications. For example, a few of them that I'll share with you guys. If there's no late payment mortgage, if there's no foreclosures in the last 7 years, what else? What's another one? It's not FICO driven. It's not based on FICO. So it's just based on if the home basically qualifies. So if the home approves that there's some equity in the actual home, that's basically the way that they get qualified. They don't have to touch their FICO or touch their credit history.
So they don't run a credit check?
They have to run a credit check because they have to determine to see if they're current on the mortgage, right? But it's not, the qualifications are based on their FICO. I can have a client who has a 590 FICO score and has to qualify for $80,000 home improvement. So think about that. So you have the, we have the potential, I would say out of 40, let's say 50 of my customers that I've done work for, if we didn't have the financing, I would say maybe probably 4 or 5 will be able to pay cash. The rest in payments. So now you go from, you think about the percentages where now out of 50, 40 people qualify to do an improvement versus only cash buyers, only a very small percentage can actually do the improvements. Now, we do 6 core products. We do, these are all energy efficient products. So these are, it's a cool roof system. It's one of them, which is a little bit later. Number 2 are energy efficient windows. And I'll be showing a video about that in just a quick moment. Solar. We do, what else do we do? HVAC, essential.
Cool walls.
And there's also cool wall, exterior basically.
Texcoat?
Texcoat, that's correct. And then we also do insulation.
What about duct replacement if it's on an HVAC?
It's all inclusive.
But I'm just saying, like, what if the homeowner doesn't need HVAC and they just have like asbestos ducts, something like that?
We get them removed.
You can do
hire a
that
third party
by
company
yourself.
to take care of that.
What was the 6th one?
Insulation. So now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because, so now the homeowner can actually do, you know, majority of homeowners, for example, I'm gonna use my parents as an example. In the course of 7 years, they've done a lot of interior work, right? Flooring and paint the interior. But a lot of the exterior, which is the bigger projects, sometimes could take a homeowner an average of, you know, for example, 2 to 3 projects like windows and doing the roof and doing exterior can take them a course of 3 to 7 years to accomplish those type of improvements. Now, I had a client who did HVAC and solar. We're doing this at the same time, which if we didn't have the financing available, they will have to probably wait a few years to get the capital, right, get the cash to do the additional improvements. Now we can do 2, 3, 4 products at a time with this type of financing, right? It's like a vehicle, right? If you didn't have, how many people make payments on their car? Can you raise your hand real quick? No? But majority at one point you did, right? Probably already paid it off. But at one point, you made payments, you didn't pay cash. You might have had some reserves in the bank, but you chose to make payments in finance. Why would that be, Michael? Why did you choose to make payments at one point versus paying cash?
Well, it was too much money, and it would have hurt the monthly income and stuff like that, so I chose to finance. But then during the financing, I tried to spend a little bit, or add a little bit more on the payment, so I could get rid of it in, 4 years or something.
So pay it faster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you didn't have financing, most likely you'd be driving an old bucket, right? Most of us will be driving a bucket or a pretty old vehicle, reliable but old. Because of financing, everybody now has a new vehicle. I mean, dude, I look around 67-year-old kids, man, driving brand new BMW because of financing. Cause they don't look at the price, you look, can you afford it, can you make the payment? Sometimes you don't care if it's $30, $40, $50, $60,000 vehicle, but it's within your monthly range. If it's manageable monthly, you'll make the investment, right? You'll commit to it. Same thing with improvements. Homeowners now, I have had a client who it was $55,000. Their monthly payments are about, I forget, remember what it was, $404 a month for 2 products, $404 a month. But that's manageable. They can pay it every single month. They don't have to wait a course of 5 to 7 years to be able to make those improvements. Okay, we're gonna talk about the benefits of energy efficiency in just a quick moment. But one of the most important things I want to talk about is making the phase 1 is to be able to make the connection with the actual customer, right? You're gonna be there about 3-4 hours with the customer. So what do you do, right, to get their attention, right, get their interest, where they're not just like, hey, when are you done? You the price, I gotta go, right? Because you're there for at least 3-4 hours. You know. I'm sorry. What's your name?
Tyler.
Huh?
Tyler.
Tyler. Okay. And just real quick, background. Where'd you come from?
IT sales.
IT sales. Okay. Cool. How about yourself?
My name's Jackson.
Mhm.
I've been in home improvement sales for the last 6 years, in home sales for about 11 years.
Okay. And the last thing you left was in home improvements?
Yeah, the company was identical to this. They
Mhm.
they actually filed Chapter 7 though, unfortunately. So.
Okay. Is that why you left? Or
Yeah.
you have to leave?
Mhm.
Okay. How'd it go? How did you do?
I used to manage the sales team for Los Angeles, so I did a lot of the training and recruiting. So
Okay. So how long were you there now at home?
At Zero Energy, at the last contractor I was with.
Yeah, like when you're at appointment, how long were you in there?
Oh, that's why. That's a little. I mean, I would say our pitch, if you weren't closing, was an hour and a half, and then a close was 2.5 to 3 hours. Obviously, like if there's financing issues, so if your Hero can be longer now, you have to get like proof of income and stuff like that now, which can slow it up. So I haven't seen your pitch, so I don't know how it is, but usually for me personally, I was usually out of the home within 3 hours typically.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. All right. So phase 1 that we're gonna be talking about.
But to go on your point, everyone's different. I think what you point out, the most important thing is just keeping the homeowner engaged, not skipping steps and rushing through them. So.
Yeah. So by tomorrow, just real quick, Chuck, tomorrow I'm gonna have you do the presentation tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Did you get a test yet? Or
No,
not?
I have not.
Okay, we'll get that for you today. Or maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow. So I'm gonna ask you guys one quick question for you guys. I'm gonna ask you guys, what's a good way to make connection with a customer?
Talk about their dog.
Huh?
Talk about their pets.
Talk about their pets, okay.
Find something to relate with.
Okay, so relatability, okay. Anything else?
Listening.
Listening, yeah. Anything else that you guys can, so listening, talk about their pets, being relatable, right? One of the things that I wanna mention real quick, and I'm just gonna touch base on my own personal, presentations. The very first thing that I do is always compliment. Very first thing you always compliment. I'll give you an example. showed up at a customer's home. They had some nice kind of wild, kind of exotic kind of flowers. So that's what as soon as I knocked, hello, how you doing? My name is JR. I'll be your energy efficient consultant today. By the way, what kind of flowers are these? Beautiful flowers. What kind of flowers are these? Right away, we stayed out there for like about 15-20 minutes at the front door, just talking about the flowers. Now, for me personally, this is a real true story. Don't talk about flowers if you know nothing about flowers, you have no relation or don't care about flowers, obviously, but even then you can still make a connection regardless if you like them or not. I was in Kauai last year, and they look similar to some of these kind of exotic kind of, type of lilies. So what I did, I just started talking about the lilies. I was in Kauai last year, and I've been trying to find, in my own home, I'm trying to get that kind of look for my house, my backyard, my front yard. And he said, you know what, let me show you something real quick. So he took me to the backyard, and guess what? He had a full garden of all kinds of different types of exotic things I've never seen before. I don't even know the names of them. He gave me the place where he, goes and purchases these kind of roses and flowers. I did share with him as well. You know what? So that was his passion. He was extremely passionate about that. He was the one who did it, not his wife. I'm not assuming it was a wife, but that was him. That's what he loved to do. And I go, can I share something with you real quick? I'm like, actually, you know what? It's crazy because, when I give flowers to my wife, when I give roses, I go buy the lilies, and I'll make the bouquet myself. And there's this I was telling him, like, there's this peace, calmness that I love about doing that. Like, I don't know what happened over the years, but that's kind of my, I told him I'm very, I'm confident in my masculinity, but I love doing that. And then he started, so I just shared that piece of me, and he started sharing why he does it. This is what I love. He's like, so we were there for like about 45 minutes, 15 minutes in the front yard. We're about 30 minutes in the backyard, just talking about that. And I cared to learn about it. It's not that I just was trying to I'm just gonna compliment a connection so I can sell the guy. I mean, generally I was interested in what he had to say. And 45 minutes just making a connection. So the main thing is you want to compliment, right? Because the reason why that's very important, just like you as a customer, as a shopper, right? When people go to your house, or when you go shop around, right? I'm gonna ask you this question. When you go to a retail store, and somebody asks you, can I help you? What do you typically say?
No.
No. Why? What do you say when can I help you? What do you typically say?
Just looking, I got it.
Huh? I got it. Okay. Why do you think that is? Because you do need help. You are looking for something, but right away, no. That's what we do as people, right? There's this wall that we have created, that we have made, and that's the defense mechanism is coming in. So guess what? You go to a homeowner's home, regardless now, our leads, we don't cold call, we don't do any of that. Everyone has inquired and contacted us. So they're actually interested in getting a roof. They're interested in getting windows. They call us for that. We're not calling trying to convince people to set an appointment. They're calling to make the appointment with us. So they're already interested, but there's also a wall. And how do you break that wall? And the only way you're gonna break that wall is by starting to make that connection with the customer. A lot of times, a lot of salespeople, they'll say, well, he likes me, he told me I'm a great salesman, I like you, I'll think about it, give me your card, I'll get back to you. And you thought that you make the connection, you thought you build a rapport, you build a trust, but why didn't he move forward with you if that was the case? If there was genuine trust and there was genuine certainty, why didn't he move forward? Right? Some is like surface is not true, it's not true connection. Right? They're comfortable, they're good people, but they did not move forward. And that's one thing that I share about my story. My first appointment that I went out to, this lady, we were sitting on her dining room table, and this lady had a hole in her ceiling. I'm talking about this huge hole in her ceiling, and I could not sell it. You know, I make a joke about it, and we're like, yeah, I was literally like an umbrella. You know, she had an umbrella, and I couldn't close her. I couldn't get her to say yes. And I walked away at that point. I'm like, can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. If I can sell that, you imagine when you know have an appointment that doesn't have that kind of issue? But one thing that I did is I went back and replayed why, you know, what did I, you know, the main thing was she liked me, she was a nice lady. We talked about kids, we talked about family, we talked about, you know, pets, but there wasn't that true connection. There wasn't that intimacy. And that's what I'm talking about, is intimacy. Some of us are like, what the heck is that word mean? You know? Some of us haven't probably ever experienced actual true intimacy. You know, really. But it's making that connection, that there's an intimate connection with that customer. So that's an example. That was, you know, even that client, it was an example of talking about your passion, right? Is as you compliment, it'll help you find, because one of the things, as you're making that connection, and you find out what their passion is, you start breaking that wall, those bricks, little by little, right? So that's the initial step is to do that. Because if you don't, if you never make a connection, you walk in, how you doing, sir? You can be smelling good, you can be looking good, you can be smiling all day long, and you can go through the inspection process and do all of that. But if you make that connection towards the end, he's gonna say, thank you, I got more bids, and I'll get back to you. I promise you, like, I'm gonna come back to you. That's what they're gonna say. And they might be genuine, they like you, but something was missing and something was off with that. You know, and I'll give you more examples about this, but this is gonna be the most important step, is to be able to make the connection with the customer. Okay, now, sometimes, not always, you might not be able to. You might have some people who are more closed off. They don't wanna let you in. So what do? I had a customer not recently who, he met me outside. This is the last roof job. We actually started the roof today, to tear off today. Met him outside, and he's like, yeah, just go ahead and get a ladder. And you want me to get your ladder? I have a ladder in my backyard. Just go ahead and, you know, I could have, you're like, no, we gotta come in, you know, we have to come inside the house and go over some stuff first. I just went with them. I just put it on with them. I'm like, big no problem. I have a ladder in my car. I'll get it in just a moment. And I had to find a way to establish some kind of connection with the actual customer. He had a pit bull. Guess what? The good thing is I had a pit bull. I love pit bulls. I just put my pit bull down about two and a half years ago. You know, she was 15 years old, had cancer, had a month to live, and it was either the bet was I can help him live another month, but he's gonna suffer, or put him down. And the vet was like, you know what, I don't feel good about putting him down, but you have to make a choice. I mean, so we had to put her down because she was suffering. So guess what? I was even watery eyes talking to genuine conversation. I'm not trying to, you know. He talked about his pit bull, his last one that he lost, and he was in tears. That's a connection. That's true intimacy. You know, that's the kind of connection that you want to make with your actual customer. Very little do people make that kind of connection. Sometimes you get a sale without making that intimate connection. But also a lot of times you're gonna get a cancellation because you didn't make that solid intimate connection. Because when you make that kind of connection, you're gonna trust, right? And one thing about our company is that we're extremely transparent. We go over, we don't have the issues, you know, we don't have the issues that other companies go through in the industry. We don't lie to our customers. We're very honest with them. We wanna help them. We believe in what we do. You know, that is my first thing. When I go into an appointment, I'm not thinking about, I gotta make $16,000 this month. I gotta make $10,000 to make sure I take care of my family. I have to block that off and like, how can I help this person? God help me. How can I help them? If they don't need help me walk away. That's my belief. My belief. That is what that is kind of like my mental type of, you know, where I'm at when I go to my customer's house. Because it helps. When you start making the connection and you start making that contact with the client and make a connection, it helps you also to relax. Now you're relaxed, they're relaxed, and now you're just having a conversation, like just like you're in the street somewhere, just having a conversation, right? The last thing you want to do is create this barrier between you and him. Because initially when you're there at the house, that's what it is, there's a wall between you and him. And your goal is to break that wall in an organic way. So that's why I talk about you when I talk about how you're valuable. That's the same exact with the customer. They're valuable. They matter. They have a heart. They have a pulse. They matter. Just like you matter, they also matter. And you gotta treat them that way. You know, and if it's genuine, and you truly feel that way, because I hear this all the time. People come in here, training, oh yeah, I wanna help people. I wanna make a difference. And I believe that in our core, we were all designed with that kind of purpose, to make a difference, right? But sometimes we wanna take the shortcut, or sometimes it's not quick enough. You're actually in a business that you can do that, right? We're not just installers. We're not installers. You know, I don't like using the word sales rep. You know, when I used to have I used to have communications manager, relationships manager. That was my hat, building relationships. That's it. You know, the reward, obviously, is rewarding to help people. You know, but one thing that helped me a lot is not see it in a way that I'm there to make money. Because the truth is, you're here for a reason, right? You're here because you have a need. If you want to be honest, you guys have a need. I didn't move to Home Improvements to this business because I just had all this money in the world, and I said, I'll try something new today. I'm just a little bored. And maybe it is for you, I don't know, but it wasn't for me. I'm just a little bored, right? I went from making, you know, $150,000 a year to, guess what, a whole new career, family of 6. I have twins in college. They're 20, they're gonna be 21 next year, coming up. I have a daughter that's 11 years old. I have a son that's 7 years old. So I'm moving to a whole new industry. What if it doesn't go well? I had the old sales manager. He sold $800,000 in 2 months, and he's telling me I sold 800 grand. I'm like, you know what, dude? Just show me the money. Like, show me. So he pulled all the files out, all the funded deals, and he showed me his sales in 2 months. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, if that guy can do it, if that guy believes, then I can do it too. And that's where he got me. I'm like, dude, just don't try to sell me, man. Just show me. All these checks you see right here, if you later come up, these are actual checks that we hand out for 2 jobs, 3 jobs every week that we do. You know, you need more proof, I'll show you my check on Friday. You know, and I'm just saying this because for me, I wanted to be in the type of business that, I'm here more because I help more. But even when I was in the field, the truth, once I got it, once everything clicked, I was probably working 4 or 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. If I want to be honest with myself, how much I was working, and I was making $20,000, $25,000 a month. Now, if I was working 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, I probably would have made double. But I also had priority. My God comes first, my family comes second, and my career comes third. That's just me. My career comes third. Because if I'm not good, if I'm not good with my wife, guess what? I'm gonna be struggling and stressed at work. And that's gonna transfer over to my customers as well. They're gonna feel it. They're gonna sense it when something's wrong, when something's off. So that's me. We'll start doing jumping jacks next week maybe. But that's another part. You want to take care of yourself mentally, right? What it is, like meditating, praying, whatever it is you need to do, self-care, exercise, take care of yourselves, and also emotionally. when you guys are struggling, call me. You know, you guys are gonna get to know each other. You guys know about the this before. You have to be around people who help you, not hurt you. Because there's gonna be a bad apple in the room. There's gonna be somebody complaining. You know, I stay away from everybody that is complaining. Because I don't believe in problems. If there's a solution to that problem, it's not a problem. You guys agree? If there's a solution to that problem, it's not a problem. It's only a problem when there's no solution to it. But that's my mindset. You know, when there's a problem, there's an opportunity. And that's how you have to view it, and that's how you have to see it. Because believe me, man, I know, right? We have all of our stuff out of this room. There's a lot of stuff. And for a lot of us, it's different. But we all have our stuff. You know. But yeah, even with that customer, I become their counselor. You know, I mean, I have a certification in grief recovery. I also lead a chemical recovery ministry, youth ministry. So guess what? When I'm talking to my customer, I'm talking about their kids' problems, their marriage problems. I mean, I'm talking about everything. When I walk out that door, they know. Every time we give hugs. I mean, I give hugs to my clients. I believe in hugs. I do that here so much just because when I keep it, you know. But other than that, all my clients, I walk away, hugs. I mean, I know them so well. They invite me to their birthday parties. That's the kind of relationship I have with my clients. Build a true relationship with your customer. You know, or you can just make some money, or you're making a difference. You know, I was at a customer's house for about 6 hours. The first 2 hours we were talking about, he had a cool wall. He had a new pool, just like a month ago. He had a brand new pool. He had about 3 motorcycles, Harleys. He had classic cars. You know, he took me to he called us for a pool walk, for a paint job, basically, for the exterior. And I'm like, what is out of this picture? He had a window, I mean, he had everything, like, just remodeled. And I'm like, can I ask you something? I'm like, your ceiling, you just painted your house like 6 months ago. Why do you want to paint it again? Well, you don't want the business or what? You don't want the business? I mean, he was very closed off. I'm like, no, I mean, I'll do it, but it doesn't look, you need it. I want to know the why. Why is it that he wants to know the, you know? Went to the back, showed me everything. Eventually, I couldn't, as much as I tried to compliment him, it wouldn't work. As much as I tried to kind of make a connection, I just wasn't making it. But what happened was at the end, he made a comment, and he said something like about, something Moses. I can't remember what it was, but he made Moses. I'm like, you go to church? He's like, no. He's like, no, but I've been wanting to go to church. You know? And he's like, do you? I go, yeah, I go to church. And he's like, have you read, somebody gave me this book, I read this book, it's called The Purpose Driven Life. I'm like, oh yeah, actually I did it as a whole church. We did it together, that book. Let me show you something. He took me, finally we went into the house, after like an hour later. Show me this book. And we sat down, and something happened in that process where all of a sudden started crying. And he's like, I'm getting divorced. My daughter won't talk to me. He's in his about 60, 65, 60 years old. He just started crying. He's like, you know, I don't want to, I mean, he was like bawling. And he's like, I'm so sorry, I just can't stop crying. And like, it's okay. You have to let it out. You know, and he kept crying and crying. He's like, yeah, you're so young, and I don't even know I'm talking to you, and you know, and I'm like, believe me, I've been there before. I've been there. 2 more hours were later, just talking about that. All his problems, all his issues. You know, and the way he's trying to numb his pain, the way he's trying to cover his pain is by material. If I can just get my house to be look better, my wife might come back. If I just get another toy, it might just make things better. But it wasn't. Empty promises, right? Talked about that for a long time too. You know, his kids wouldn't talk to him. But I was there. It wasn't about, I told him, you know what, maybe I'm not here for the pay job. Maybe I'm here because you need to talk to someone. And I was genuine. I was being honest. Maybe that's why I'm here. For a whole different reason. guess what? Me and him still talk. You know, he's going to marriage counseling. I told him, like, you know what? You can say you can change. You know, the one thing my wife told me back in the day, like 9 years ago, it's like, you know, show me by actions, not with what you say. Just show me, because I went through the same problems myself. Show me, right? Not with what you do, because we're good at, right? We're good talkers. You guys are here, probably good salespeople. You guys can spit it good, you guys can sound good, right? But following through is a whole different story. So he's taking advice from a 41-year-old person versus a 65-year-old man. You know, but there was this genuine connection that we made. It was a bond that's unbreakable. 4 hours talking about nothing to do with the product or the paint job. Nothing. So we ended up doing HVAC. We did. I mean, well, no, I'm so sorry. I still wanna. I'm like, well, I mean, let me just do a thorough audit, energy audit inspection. I go, well, I mean, the only thing you don't need that you don't have is the commission. You know, so we did essentially. But that wasn't in my mind. That wasn't important anymore. I could have been there the whole time just being like, is it gonna buy? I gotta go. If not, I go to the next appointment, right? And I would have lost and missed everything. But I made obviously I referred him to a church, out in his area. He was at Azusa, put him out there. You know, but that's just, you know, he goes there, trying to get his marriage back in, goes to marriage counseling. You know, his kids talk to him again. Still not heated, nothing. Still going through the entire process. But that's what I mean when I say making true connections. That's intimacy. You know, and you'll hear this from everybody who knows me. That's the kind of relationships that I build with my customers. If you want to make a difference, right, there's nothing more rewarding, I'm telling you, than helping someone else out. Me and Mike, the owner, went to Vegas. We went to the, you guys know Cardone? Grant Cardone? Mm-hmm. We went to his, there was like about 10 speakers, like multi-billion-dollar speakers that we went out there, me and him went. And there's one thing they all had in common. The one thing they said is this: if you're not trying to help someone else or make a difference for someone else, long term it will never work. They all had different strategies, they all had different kind of businesses, but the very, very common thing, unless you're willing to help someone else, when somebody invents something, they invent it to make a difference for someone else, and becomes, right, it just takes off. But when it's about how much you can make from the product, it doesn't go so well, you know, it doesn't go well for too long. Our company, SafeCal, has that kind of foundation. I know the owner, these guys know I'm very down to earth. I don't even kind of walk in there with the blue shirt and hat you have. Because, you know, the company was here just kind of came by. I mean, I trust him 100%. You know, he trusts me 100% as well. You know, he's a genuine guy, down to earth guy. You would never think that, you know, he's wearing a polo shirt like I am. You know, the guy who comes with a suit and just show off and he has the money. You know, I don't care to do that either. I'm not gonna do that. You know, I think at one point when I was younger, I was trying to impress people by dressing good. You know, now you don't have to. But I'm very, I'm not a big guy anymore. That helps. So making connections, going back to making connections. I want to just hear your feedback, and we're not done yet, obviously, but just based on what you're hearing, what are you guys getting from what you're hearing? I want to hear, you know, if you don't raise your hand, I'll just call you out anyway, so you decide what you know. But what did you get from what you're hearing so far?
I see how it could work. When I do go to the store and I do turn down someone that tries to ask me for help, I have noticed that some will try to connect with me and try to relate to something, and it will help bring my attention to want to talk to them or want to buy something from them, want to let them help me, and I think it does work.
How about you, Wayne?
Yeah.
No, it took me like 2 days to get their names, but there were so many guys in the class, but I just got his name, so.
Well, thank you.
I'm getting better at it. Go ahead.
I feel special. No, basically, everything that you said was 100% correct. I found it very useful to connect with people outside of the business and just focus on them individually. And at whatever point their problem manifests, that's when I come in and help solve it. But initially, it's really difficult to try to help somebody if they already think that you're trying to take money from them, which is essentially the game that we play.
Yeah. You know, anybody else? How about yourself? I'm sorry, your name again?
Stan.
Huh?
Stan.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess if I go in, I try to set my mind where I genuinely wanna help the people instead of making money, and just go in there with that mindset and be nice and, like you said, find something to talk about and find their passion, try to break the wall, and kind of go from there. I think a lot of it depends on knowledge too, but I guess we didn't get there yet. But first stage, definitely go in there trying to help people. And I think right now is with all the climate change and all that, that's another aspect to apply, that we're trying to change the world. Use renewable energy, eventually no fuel, so can touch that aspect as well.
What's your name again? Last name?
Sterling.
Huh?
Sterling.
Sterling?
Yeah.
Sterling.
The way I've always done it, tell me if I'm wrong, I like to let them become experts at a lot of things. And it shows them that they're experts at a lot of things. I'm the expert at home improvement, right? So I'm showing them that they're the expert and quizzing them and getting information from them. But also taking control when it comes to home improvement or whatever I'm selling. So you are the expert here, but I'm the expert over here. So that way I can transition to what I'm doing. But making that rapport, as a lot of people do, making that rapport on what they are the expert on, whether it's flowers, whether it's, their dog, whatever it is. But when it comes to home improvement, now I'm the expert, right? So that way there's a rapport going. So they're the expert and I'm the expert. So there's not like there is a give and take, basically. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Anybody else? Want to ask something else, please? Yeah, go ahead.
I think like anybody can make compliments. When they all make compliments to other people, I think most of them fails at making actual connections, sincere connection. And that's because making a compliment is just a lot more than just saying the words out of your mouth. And I'm wondering if you all want to go about this, the next phase of this class, or if you all want to move on to another subject.
Like what?
I'm wondering, like actual product or something. So are you going to keep talking about it?
I like the part where, you talk about connection, passion, and all this stuff, but what you said with respect to what you've come into, it makes you relax. And so when you're relaxed, that's what you're giving off to the customer. So, and it's obviously easier for the customer, and it's easier for me to be relaxed and just go wherever it goes. And it sounds simple, but it takes a while, I'm sure, so.
Yeah, and exactly, I love what you said, because, all of us know, you read it, you see it, you've heard it, you've probably done it, that the most important step is to build a rapport. But sometimes we just don't know how to do that in a way that is gonna be long-term, or in a way that is gonna actually, that is actually gonna be true connection, really is what it is. Because I can generally have a conversation with you, and then still yet in the back of your mind, you're like, still not fully, right? And so, because think about this, people in general have different backgrounds, different upbringings, and people have different kind of wounds, different kind of experiences in life. Even when they bought something, they got took advantage of. So they have, everybody's skeptical, right? You are, I am, all of us have experienced something negatively when it comes to a transaction, and we wanna keep it in sales. In a transaction matter of business, we all have that bad experience. So we're gonna be a little bit more smart, intelligent in regards to, you know what, I'm gonna get three bids, I have a rule, unless I get 3 bids, I'm not moving forward, right? So, one of the things that's very, very important, and one thing you mentioned, Michael, is that, as you're making this connection, obviously complementing something that they have, this is more of the exterior, just before you go to the house, it allows for you to get to know them, like, get to know what their likes are, what their passions are. Because if you can, it's like anything, right? If I get to know you guys and I find out what your passion is, right? You can talk about your passion all day, right? You start smiling, there's just something that comes with it that starts breaking that wall. And the thing about this is, one of the things you'll hear in sales in general is that you have to be in control, right? You gotta take control of the sale. You have to be in control of your customer. I agree to a degree, but what I do is I do it in a way that is organic. You know, versus let me walk in your home. You know, we're gonna sit at the dining room table first, I'm asking questions. I don't do that. What I do is I make a connection, walls come down, and guess what? Now they're following my lead without me trying to control the presentation, control the next step. They're asking me, well, okay, so what do we do next? It's a natural process that would happen that is designed through building relationship with the customer versus I'm gonna control and I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do next. So that's not what we say exactly, but that's how we can come across. Like, let me tell you, right? I mean, you see here, C2, control, trust, urgency, need, affordability. So you guys know, like, you have to take control. And then some of these customers, you know, majority of them, they're used to typically experiencing the kind of contractor or sub or laborer that goes in and gives them a 10-minute bid, right? I mean, they're not just, they just got out of the attic, just put a roof, and they're coming over and give me a quick bid. A lot of these bids, a lot of these guys, they're great at the work, the installation process. But when it comes to people and talking to people, that's typically what your customer is used to. They've been programming used to. They're gonna get a quick bid. I've got a lot of appointments where the customer is like, oh yeah, just give me a quick bid, look at the roof, just from here, can you just tell me real quick, give me an estimation of how much that's gonna be? And guess what? A lot of other contractors give them a quick bid. Get a bid just looking at the roof from a distance. Well, you're an expert, right? I mean, you know, you're an expert, you've been doing it for 10 years. How many doing this for 10 years? Yeah, you can give me a bid, right? You can just do the estimation. That's not what we do. You know, when we get there, we don't leave. We arrive, you know, but guess what? The client's gonna wanna take control of, guess what? Time. I only got 10 minutes, only got half an hour. Can you give me a bid within 20 minutes because I gotta get going? And then when I started this business and I heard that, I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh yeah, he's not gonna buy. Right? You start, all those negative thoughts start playing. You know, oh, half an hour, only half an hour. Okay, not a problem. You should talk about product right away. Okay, you know, cool system, HVAC, and it's gonna be $29,000. Okay, I'll think about it. I'll get back to you. I got some more bids. That's the outcome. 9 out of 10 times, that's always the outcome. I don't know about you. If I go to your house for 10, 20 minutes and I say it's gonna be 30 grand, what are you gonna say? Let me think about it. 30 grand. Let me think about it. There was no, but one of the things that I've learned over time, as long as I've been doing this, right? It's kind of like what can I talk about in this case? They're so concerned about knowing about the product, so concerned about talking about the next steps, but they always miss the most important one. Because you need to build trust, genuine trust. Not, I like you, but dude, you're the expert, I'm following your lead. Right? That's what you want. Where the customer's telling you, what do you think we should do? There's nothing more amazing than hearing that from your customer. What do you think we should do here? where he's trying to tell you and control, you know, how you're gonna be doing your job. Because that's what I would do. I don't know about you, but that's what I do. You know, even like the person like the retail. I remember I used to be 17 years old, I was in shoe sales, you know, for like a year. And one thing I learned back then, he was like, he said, you never want to ask your customer if you can I help you. Why? Because the response is always no. So what they tell me back then, like, you know what, you have to use a different approach. You know, the approach was, if you like it in the size, I have it in the back. Oh yeah, let me try it. Like, I mean, it wasn't a yes or no. It was more, if you like that, I have it in your size. Whole different approach, right? Because how many times I've been at the, you know, I was at Macy's. I was actually at the mall just over the weekend in San Diego. The same thing. People asking me help, I know. But I'm looking for certain kind of jeans, certain kind of shirts, but I'm still saying no. Right? It's something that just, you know, is part of that defense that, you know, we don't want to feel like I'm obligated. Like now I have to buy something, or, you know, I don't know what it is, but it's within all of us. So that's the first thing, is making the connection so that they're more comfortable. So it'll help you get relaxed. They're also more comfortable, right? They're also more comfortable, so you can kind of make the next step and move forward with it, okay? Now, once you have established that connection, now sometimes it won't happen outside right away, right? You go inside the house, can I come in the house? And you go in the actual home. Usually when you go inside the house, you'll see something. You'll see pictures of kids, I don't know, pictures of a dog when you walk in the house. If it doesn't happen outside, guess what? When you're going in there, you have to look for it, you have to find it. You know, a lot of times I see a picture of a family of 6. Oh wow, what a beautiful family, they're your kids. And then we start talking. It might be trophies. I had a customer that his son basically World Series, Little League, all these trophies. He was proud of being a dad. He'd be half an hour, 45 minutes just talking about that, about his son. And then I talked about, do you have kids? Yeah, and I talked about my family. I'll show him pictures of my kids. He showed a picture of his kids. That's all we're doing. Just about an hour, just talking about his passion towards his son, how proud he is as a dad, and then I was talking about my passion as a dad. Because if you can find out what their passion is, guess what? Now they're going to be open to hear what your passion is, right? I mean, you can know someone, right? You can know, for example, if I'm trying to build with, I'm just saying, I'm using a female, not a guy, but if I'm trying to build with her, unless I know her passion, she'll never trust me. And unless I share my passion with her, she'll never take the next step with me. At least not all the way, like to the altar, so I'm saying, you know. She won't, right? She just won't. Same thing with your customers. Unless you allow them to share their passions and what they love to do. And you know how it is, man, when we love to talk, right? When it's about something we love. We can talk all day long with it. Okay. Now, once you make the connection, you go inside the actual house, I mean, you can see pictures, whatever you see. I mean, if it doesn't happen outside, the next step is try to find it inside the home to make that connection with the customer. I don't know about you, there's nothing more awkward than going into their house, you know, and you don't make the connection, and you're just trying to walk around, you know, can I go ahead and, I need to do an inspection of the house, look around, tell you what the issues are. By the way, what are the problems you're having with your roof? You have a leak? No leak, but I'm just shopping. Okay. All right, well, let me just check the roof, let me check the attic, and I'll come back and I'll give you, and let you know. There's nothing more awkward than that kind of conversation, right? There's nothing more just, I don't know about you, but I remember my first couple appointments, it was so awkward. You know, I'm in their house and I'm feeling kind of weird about it. But as I started to do this part, everything came down. Now I'm a friend in their home. I'm a friend in their house. You know, you feel comfortable. They feel comfortable. You know, come, oh, you know what, let me show you this. I mean, dude, I go to their, they show me different things that, you know, once we get connected, and I talk about my passion, and they relate to it, they continue talking about what, you know, how we relate. So, this is the first step, most important step, you know. And some of you be like, you already know it, but if you're not closing, I know you're not doing it. You haven't got it together. You haven't figured that one out yet. Number two is obviously once you build a connection, you want to have a seat with your customer. I don't take control or do not tell them we have to go to the dining room table. It can be living room. This is just the first step. This is the initial step, right? Once at the end, once you sit down and get priced, then you want to probably go to the dining room table. But initially, I'll let them decide. I come off like I'm not in control of anything, even though I still am. I come off like I'm not in control of the process, right? They're in control of the process. That's how I come off. So number two is fine dining or living room. Now, a lot of times I don't even sit down with my customer. I've been talking to them for 35 minutes, 45 minutes about their passion, about my passion, right? And then one thing I want to do, I want to show you a video. And then I'm going to show you guys a video. This is our company video. You guys can YouTube SafeCal and you'll find the video. This is our SafeCal video. Later on, we'll put you on Slack, and then we'll put all the videos on Slack. You have that. You can have all the videos with you. So I'm going to show you guys a video real quick here, and just give me your feedback once we're done.
Our goal is to save California. Save Cal. We provide a wide range of home improvement efficiencies that help with energy efficiency. Cool roofs, cool walls, HVACs, tankless water heaters, insulation in your attic, and solar panels as well. We cover the entire Southern California area. We've been in business since 1997. We started with one little small pickup truck out of the garage, and look at us now. We are servicing at least 90 or 120 projects on any given week. We're hands-on. We're not just behind the desk talking to our customers on the phone only. We're out there in the field. We're talking to them. We're meeting with them. We're solving all the problems. We believe in reduction before production, which entails reducing energy before producing energy. That's our mission. We're helping our homeowners so that we can move into a better green world. And we want to make sure this is the right fit for each and every homeowner. So it is customized to each and every home. We have an energy auditor that does a whole full assessment of the home before we deliver any product or service. I've been out to different clients, and you can see it in their face. It's just a glow, and it's life-changing for them. And because of that, you know, it gives us the inspiration to keep doing what we do. Hero has been an incredible partner for us. They go out there and make these things happen for the homeowners. Because if they can't afford it, why would we do it? So we're working with Hero, and Hero's working with us. And that's an important part of this team. And we can't do this without Hero. There's three ways we're going to leave this planet. The way we came into it, worse than we came into it, or in a better place. That's what St. Cal is all about. Leaving this planet in a better place than when we live.
All right, so what did you guys get from this video?
Reduction before production.
Reduction. What do you think that means?
So basically, you're talking about the mitigation of emitting not useless, but energy that could have been reserved, and then to discuss how you can basically be more self-reliant.
So reducing energy before producing energy, right?
Right.
How about yourself? What's your name?
Tyler.
Tyler. What'd you get from the video?
Trying to help others, things like that, the motto of the company, core idea, or whatever the company is doing to its product or services.
Helping others? Okay. Arlene, right?
Yeah.
Arlene, how about you?
Kind of the same, to help people to, that's their main motivation, not just to take from the money.
Okay. How about you, Michael?
It's interesting just because you're not going in there with a video and saying, you gotta buy me now. It's gonna be not on sale next week or something like that, so that's another way to relax people. It's like, oh, okay, so they're doing something else. So I think that's great.
Okay. Anybody else? Something you got from the video?
The relationship that you have with the contractors, you guys are basically one and the same, and on the same page, so everybody in the process is being helpful as opposed to, being more focused towards their own stuff.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, we customize. Right?
Right.
Customize, and there's one thing they mentioned that comes with a customize is we do an energy audit, which means that we assign a project. I'm not just gonna put PM. We assign a project manager. A lot of companies basically, like, give an example. There's companies like Home Depot, like Lowe's and Sears. What they do, they're a box store, right? I mean, they're a big company, you know them. But what happens is that once you purchase from Home Depot, what they do is they'll look at a list of contractors or subs, they'll call them and send them out to do the actual job. There's no standardized procedure in regards to how that type of installation or service is gonna be. That's why I like wants the rating when it comes to home improvement. Because there's nobody overseeing the job, it's just the installers, the laborers working on the job. And typical issues is, they left a mess. They said they're gonna be here by 9 o'clock, they were here by 12. They were gonna be here by 9, they didn't show up, or call us and let us know they were not showing up. I took them off my day so I can be here for the contractor, he never showed up. This is typical type of experience that homeowners have. There's only 30% satisfaction, and that's a little high. I'm kind of over it. It's, only 30% satisfaction in home improvements. Only 30%, think about that. Which means that a homeowner, when they contract a contractor, there's 70% chance that they're gonna go through a bad experience. Right? They hire a contractor, they start the job, they don't finish the job. They start the job, my son is sick, which is legitimate, right? My family is sick, my car doesn't work. I can't finish in a week no more, it's gonna take me 3 weeks or a month to finish the job. This is typically what a homeowner deals with. So there's a 70% chance when they hire a contractor, when they get a bid, that it's not gonna go well. They're gonna be unsatisfied, and I don't know about you, but if that was you, if you're the homeowner, right, do you wanna risk 70% of a chance that you're gonna go through that bad experience? Now for you as a homeowner, if I was, me as a homeowner too, if I'm taking time off work to be home, I'm losing what? Time and money. Right? There's nothing worse. That's the experience. They leave nails everywhere. They drive in the driveway, tire pops because of the nail. I mean, this is the typical
type of experience when they deal with contractors. So a lot of these companies, you know, what we do is we have a project manager assigned to their project that will oversee the entire project from start to finish. That he's the only one who communicates with the customer. Our installers are not allowed to communicate with the customer. You know, they say hi and, you know, nod their head yes, but all communications go through the project manager. The project manager calls the client, we're gonna be between 8 and 10. Right? We never say just 8, between 8 and 10. Because things happen, right? It's a perfect world, things come up. There's traffic, there's accidents, who knows what. We're gonna be between 8 and 10. We're gonna start the job today, tomorrow, expect this tomorrow, expect this the next following day. There's constant communication with the entire job. Okay, you'll see my name all over the internet, because I've done over 100 projects personally myself. You know, people that are satisfied, like build relationships. Actually, we'll read a few of them that actually say they build relationships with J.R. John builds relationships. That's the word they're using in the review. So I'm not just here trying to sell you to sell a client based on just close of my connection, but generally making a true connection, building a relationship. This is how we don't have competition. We don't have a competitor. That's why we don't go bankrupt, right? Because companies that go bankrupt or companies that go out of business, and it's difficult. I would say, I don't know exactly the number. I mean, I might be just kind of estimating, but 20, you know, it's like 60 to 70% of contractors go out of business within 5 years. They go out of business. The reason why is, one of the reasons why is because they rely on that job, making that money in that job. And if something doesn't go well, right, and the customer, let's say they just did a roof, there's a leak. They call the contractor. The contractor is trying to make his mortgage on the next job, and he will never answer that service call. He will never go back because he's losing money because he needs to make money for next month. It's typical. They don't answer your contractor won't answer your call again. They won't answer the phone. That's typical. With SafeCal, any issues, they call us directly. There's a phone number, 818-600-0008. Within 24 hours, we'll be at their house, taking care of the issue. Whatever that issue might be, if there's any. You know, I've had that happen where they call me, they don't call the office. All of my customers, there's the great thing about it, and I can be like, oh, you know, but guess what? I call them back. They call me, they don't call the office. I think they were here, right, last week when I had a customer who only wanted to deal with me, did not want to deal with the office. Right, remember this person they asked me to call back?
Yeah.
They want me to be the one to take care of it. Even though the office can do it too, they want me to be the one to take care of it. This is the kind of service that we provide. So, yeah, you know, reduction for reduction, right? Helping other people, customizing. What else? There's more than that in there, man. I'm gonna play the video again if I have to. Well, there's more in there that you can get from it. What else? Jade, what else? It's in the video. Anything else you got from the video?
Just like the other day, like helping customers and, you know, just treat them with the true relationship. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna play it again. Okay. So, and there's a reason why I'm doing this, because
our goal is to save California. Save Cal. We provide a wide range of home improvement efficiencies that help with energy efficiencies like cool roofs, cool walls, HVACs, tankless water heaters, insulation in your attic, and solar panels as well. We cover the entire Southern California area. We've been in business since 1997. We started with one little small pickup truck out of the garage, and look at us now. We are servicing at least 90 or 120 20 projects on any given week. We're hands-on. We're not just behind the desk talking to our customers on the phone only. We're out there in the field, we're talking to them, we're meeting with them, we're solving all the problems. We believe in reduction before production, which entails reducing energy before producing energy. That's our mission. We're helping our homeowners so that we can move into a better green world. And we want to make sure this is the right fit for each and every homeowner. So it is customized to each and every home. We have an energy auditor that does a whole full assessment of the home before we deliver any product or service. I've been out to different clients, and you can see it in their face. There's just a glow, and it's life-changing for them. And because of that, you know, it gives us the inspiration to keep doing what we do. Hero has been an incredible partner for us. They go out there and make these things happen for the homeowners. Because if they can't afford it, why would we do it? So we're working with Hero, and Hero's working with us. And that's an important part of this team. And we can't do this without Hero. There's 3 ways we're going to leave this planet. The way we came into it, worse than we came into it, or in a better place. That's what St. Cal is about. Leaving the planet in a better place than when we came.
Alright, so what else?
Cover all of Southern California.
Southern California, helping, being a solution for them, solution for the homeowner.
Yeah, but you do energy audits before even beginning the actual work on the project to make sure that whatever you're going to service or whatever you provide is needed. Yeah, you just you make sure everything's formed.
What else?
Each individual.
Alright, what else?
It's a very hands-on process.
Hands-on process, okay. What else? Evan?
Life-changing.
Life-changing?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, in what way?
Well, we're gonna make their lives better, by reducing their energy costs. And then at the same time, reduce the greenhouse effect and the, carbon footprint.
Okay. Yeah. So, I know in the beginning it says, save Cal, saving California. Right? So, saving California by doing what again, Evan?
Basically, well, overall reducing the energy footprint, carbon footprint, and at the same time providing a great benefit to the homeowner and helping them reduce their energy costs.
So lowering the carbon footprint, what else is there? Energy savings. In a few minutes, I'm going to show a couple more videos that talks about energy efficiency and what are the benefits of energy efficiency, right? Obviously, a lot of times you'd be like, well, energy efficiency just means what? Using less energy, right? But there's something that happens through the process of reducing energy. 1 out of 8 kids, by the time they're teenagers, have respiratory issues because of contamination. 1 out of 8 children, by the ages of when they're teenagers, they have respiratory issues. And one of the biggest, the cause, guess what? The cause is because of the use of energy. Right? Like what happens, I know you've seen the video before, but in what way? How is contamination created based on what?
Well, most of the power that we're using in our homes today are being provided by fossil fuels. And we're trying to transition to renewable energies. And I think you showed images of the Earth back in the 60s compared to today.
Yeah.
And in the future with how it's going.
So I'm going to show you guys something real quick, so you guys can see this.
I was going to ask you actually if you could send
I
those.
know I have to send it to you. You're right. I just thought about that right now too.
It's all good.
Yeah. So this is where you lived. You lived. It was in 78. This is now 17. This is where you live now. Not me, but you.
So what is that doing to you, to your kids, to eventually one day grandchildren? What is that gonna do? Now I'm gonna show you in 2066. So this is what it looks like right now, right? Now in 66, this is what it's gonna look like in 66. This is what it's gonna look like in 66. That's now. You probably, most of you will probably be alive still. I hope I am too. Well, I don't know if I hope, but based on that picture, but, but this is what it's gonna be in 66. This is before, this is now. So how is it gonna affect you? So one of the things that we were talking about making a connection, as you make the connection, right, there's a few questions that I'm gonna go over with you guys if you wanna ask your customer. But the next one is you're gonna talk about your passion and why you're passionate about energy efficiency. You're passionate about renewable energy. Why you're passionate about renewable energy? Why do you do what you do? Right? When I'm at a house, I'm not selling HVAC. I talk maybe 15 minutes about the actual product. 15 minutes about the actual window. I'm talking about them, their connection, and then I'm talking about what, and then once you get to know them with the connection, guess what? They want to hear your passion. They want to hear why you do what you do. This is why I do what I do. Because of that picture. I just show them a picture. I show them the picture. This is right now. So we'll be 266. It makes a difference. We make a difference. I told my client this. I let her know, like, you know what? I didn't believe in improvements before. Yeah, the house gets fixed. But when I found out that it actually has a purpose and it makes a difference. Right now we're at, since 2016, I'll share more videos on this. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Since 16, we have converted from traditional to energy efficient homes, 52,000 homes, and since 2016. If we get to 100,000 homes that become efficient, it's like taking 100,000, no, I'm sorry, 750,000 vehicles off the road in 1 year. Is that a difference? Tyler, is that a difference? Making a difference. You're making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I'm passionate about. That's my passion. I'm not just there trying to talk about the Sears and talk about the, yes, we talk about that. But it all has to do with making a difference. All of us were made and designed to make a difference. A lot of us are chasing it still right now. Like, what's my purpose? Right? Now I got a search for significance. You know, if I was selling just products, I wouldn't be here still. I don't care how much money I make. I wouldn't be doing it. I couldn't do it. I'll get bored. I'll get tired. But when you're doing something that is gonna help the environment, it is gonna help. You know, I can sit here and say, you know what? I know you hear this all the time. It takes one person at a time. It is. It starts with you. It starts with me. I believe in it. I believe in it. And if you believe, and if that's your passion, you don't have to convince your customer. If you talk about your belief and what you're passionate about, it's transferred over. It's transferred energy. They become passionate. They get like, man, dude, man, I didn't know, you know, I had no idea that's what it is. I mean, they read it, they hear it, right? You have to hear it, but you don't know the extremes of what it's doing. Why? Because we're concerned about our own personal finances, our own family problems, which is normal, right? I have my own issues going on. I gotta think about the world, you know, I gotta worry about my own home. So I showed my passion towards. So that's why when you talk about their connection and your passion, guess what? That wall comes down, now they're open to hear about yours. And this is why I do what I do. This video is the safeguard video that you show to every customer. There's another thing there that was on there. We do multiple products. Right? If somebody is interested in a roof, but maybe part of their goals have been doing other things. Oh wow, you also do windows? Oh, you do solar. Some companies only do one product. They only do roofs, the roofers, or only do installers, or only do solar. We do 6. Those are 6 core products that we focus on. So not only is it gonna open up their mind to be like, oh my gosh, you do this too as well, right? That every time I show this video, I ask them, let me ask you this, what'd you get from the video? That's what I'm asking you, what did you get from it? You know, I asked my client, what did you get from it? Oh, you know what, I like this part, or I like this. And not every case, but most cases, when they tell me, you know what, I like the energy on it. You know, it sounds like you guys customize what you guys say, you know, the word customize. The reason why that gets their attention sometimes is because they've experienced the opposite in the past. And that's their connection. That's like almost like the trigger from their past. I'm like, I like that. Because in the past it wasn't personal. In the past, it wasn't customized, right? All these issues. In the past, I did not save energy on my bill. It actually went up. I put an HVAC system, my bill doubled up. So I always ask my customer, what did you get from, let me ask you something. What did you get from the video? And 9 out of 10 times, that whatever caught their attention it's linked to a bad experience from the past, and they like what they see. You know, sometimes it's the products. Oh, you know, I love that you do different things. You guys are solar too? Yeah, I've been having somebody, you know, came over a few times, knocked on my door a few times for solar. So I talk about a little bit about reduction or production. What we believe in doing is taking care of the need first. A solar company will try to sell you solar all day long, but you might have bad windows, you might have bad exterior walls, you might have a bad roof, but all they're trying to focus is on selling you solar, because that's all they do, that's what they sell. We don't have to do that. We'll take care of the need first. What's the need? What's the most important? Let's take care of that first. Right? We put a cool roof. Cool roofs reduce up to 21% of energy, let's just say. Cool wash reduce up to 21% of energy as well, energy costs. So if we do that first, take care of the need, it'll lower the kilowatt usage, which now we can save you when you put the solar on, and you'll save more money that way. So reducing it before producing it. I don't have to try to tell you what people want, what you don't need. We will not move forward, and we will not, even if you want the customer cool wall. You just had a cool wall job done a year ago. I go, you know what, part of our policy, you can't. Even if you want it, you can't do it. You don't need it. Typical sales rep would have been afraid of it and would have said, you know what, yes, I'm gonna sell him because he wants it. I tell him, I'm sorry, I can't. You had it for 1 year. If you wanna paint over it, just go to the store, buy some paint and paint over that cool wall, because you can do that. So he saw the genuine, I was honest with him, I was genuine, I wasn't afraid it was a sale. He's like, man, this guy cares. This guy cares. So as you talk about your passion with energy efficiency, it shows that, it displays that you care about what you do. You're not just a salesman. Because I don't know about you, when you're walking into a home, it happens to me too. Somebody rings my doorbell, I'm pretending I'm not even home. It's funny how that is, it's crazy. What is that, But guess what? Regardless if they called us, they're still extremely skeptical. There's a wall up. So by the time I'm talking about my passion, I'm like an hour in. 45 minutes, because you guys are gonna be in the field. 45 minutes in, and I make the connections. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna show a quick video real quick. You have a quick seat? Oh, where do you wanna go? Oh, it doesn't matter. Show the video. You wanna have an iPad, or you wanna have a laptop, right? I have a Note 9, but still, that screen is small. You wanted something that is gonna really, you know, they can see it, right? So so you're gonna put here, show Safe Cal video. If you don't show the video, you're robbing yourself. You know, you're not building value. You're not getting to know your customer, not really, not getting to know your customer. And then you talk about your passion. So I'm gonna show you. So once you, before I continue, once you show the Safe Cal video, if you guys noticed, I haven't asked them any questions about how long you lived before. I haven't asked any of those questions yet. Typical salesman, the first thing they do, oh, how you doing, by the way, how long you lived before? You know, this is your first house, second house. They start all these salesy questions and don't build a connection. I build a connection first, and as I build a connection first, show the video, and guess what? Now, organically, naturally, we're just having a conversation. So, by the way, how long have you been here for? It's a beautiful house. If it's beautiful, say it. If it's not, don't say it. Okay? You're right? Find something that's nice, you know? Because I've been to homes, believe me. You know, hoarders.
Hoarders? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, you know, like, I mean, there's nowhere to sit. I remember standing on the kitchen area.
They start trying to clean.
The kitchen was the only, exactly. And they're apologizing the whole time because they're embarrassed. Oh, I'm so sorry, but, you know, don't worry about it. I've been to homes that there's like 20 cats in the house.
Oh
I'm not exaggerating. 20 cats. And guess what? And they're hoarders. That's how bad it smells. Bad.
Oh my gosh.
I had guys who like, you know, do I show that to? I don't. I kind of suck it up, you know. I do.
Hoarders love to buy things though. I said hoarders love to buy things though, so you can't be afraid of those
Yeah.
situations.
You know,
You just gotta.
but if you show that it is already embarrassed, it was hard for them to just call you and let you in.
Yeah.
And now you're like making a certain kind of body or face expression. Like, if they see that, you lost it.
Because they're more comfortable. It makes it easier to know their passion, right?
There you go.
Cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I had a client that actually her daughter was there, and he's like, "Yeah, you gotta convince me, man, to help get the stuff." You know, I completely get it. My grandma's not, she wasn't like that, right? But she keeps a lot of, you know, keeps a lot of stuff in her basement, but it's not like in the house. It's like stuff in the basement. But like, I try to relate in some way. You know, like I get it. I have it, but my grandma tried to get rid of stuff. She's like, no. To her, it's value, even though it might mean nothing to me. To her, it means everything. And that's how we made a connection with my customer. You know, I didn't say my grandma's a hoarder, because she's not. But she does keep a lot of things. You know, she stores them. You know? So, as you now talk about, well, you're passionate, then naturally, organically, you can, so let me ask you, you haven't asked this question, how long have you been here for? Right? How long have you lived before? Do you guys see that, or, I mean, I'm saying anyway, so I'll turn it. How long have you been before? You know, what's the next question you'll probably ask?
Is this your first house?
This is your first house? Okay. What's the next one?
What improvements have you done to the home?
Okay. This is your first house. Now, yes, typically, you can move on and ask another question. But the goal to every question is to continue to build and make a connection. So the reason why I'm asking the client, typical sales aspect, how long have you lived before, right? Is this your first home? If it is, guess what I'm gonna do? Living in California, it's expensive. So if it is the first house, I'm like, dude, congratulations. I have a lot of friends who moved to Texas. I have friends who have moved to Arizona. I have friends who moved to Washington, Oregon, because it's expensive. My parents moved to Georgia because it's expensive. Congratulations. High five, handshake, whatever your thing is. Let me ask you, how was it for you? Because I know it wasn't easy. When I got my house, it wasn't easy. So how was it for you? And let them start talking about how difficult it was, how hard it was. We had to work 10, 12 hours a day. It took us 7 years to get our house. You continue. So does that make sense what I'm saying? These questions are not just based, just because it's a question just to ask as a sales question. It's to continue to build a connection with the customer. Continue to build and to get to know them more. You know, had a client who also, you know what, it was passed on to my mom. Actually, in his role play, he said that, but I had customers say that. It was passed on to my mom. And then guess what they did next? They moved on to the next question. Have you done any improvements? They move on. That's what a typical salesman does. Just ask the questions when there's no purpose to the question. But what I asked the client, I'm like, let me ask you this. You know, it was passed on, so where's your mom live now? She passed away 2 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How was that for you? Because I lost my grandma 2.5 years ago. That was really hard. It feels like yesterday. And even right now, I can create that emotion because it's real. And guess what? He's like, yeah, it's been 5 years and it's still hard.
If you've had trouble with one, that's where I found a lot of times you can get people to open up for you a little bit on that questionnaire, in my experience. So if someone's got their wall up and they won't let you connect with them in the beginning, kind of use that time to help them break their wall down a little bit.
You know, so by the second time, right, if it's not out front, something you can relate to and let them talk about what they like. You know, it's gonna be inside the house, it'll be something that you can connect with, you can relate to, and they can talk about themselves and their passion. Right, but as you're building that passion, the whole goal is to remember is you're tearing out brick by brick. So by the time you show us like a video, and by the time you're getting to how long have you lived here for, you know, the next question I ask, I'm like, where did you live before? I was in Los Angeles, but now I'm in Rialto. Oh wow, that's a big change. I'm just having a conversation with them. Not because I'm trying to dig information from them. I'm just now their friend. Right? When you talk to someone you meet outside and it's a friend, it's natural to ask all these questions, right? You keep going with the questions, just natural conversation. Oh, really? Where did you live before? Oh, yeah, I was in LA. What happened? Why did you move all the way to Rialto, man? That's a big. I mean, LA, Rialto. I mean, that's right. LA, Lancaster. That's a big. I mean, that's a change. Like, what happened? You know, but what I'm not doing is this. I mean, obviously, you want to take notes with your customer. But the last thing you want to do is you're doing this and you're taking note. Well, how long are you here for? You know, is it first house? Yes. Right? That's the last thing you want to do, which typically that's what people do. Right? They start taking notes with everything they say. Make it organic, natural. Make a mental note, and then later maybe write it down if you're gonna forget. Like me, I don't forget anything. So for me, over time, I just remember everything they tell me. But you can, when it comes to their needs and wants and the findings, that you want to write these down. But you just want to have a natural conversation. How long has it been? Why Rialto out of all places? That's an extreme. Like Rialto, really? Yeah, I know, man. Just it's expensive, and the only way to get a house is if we move out here. Did you know somebody out here? Family, friends? Or my best friend is from out here, so we come out and we kind of liked it. You know, it's more private. And I mean, I get every question from me is to make connection. That's it. Make connection. Right? It is your first house. Yes. Wow. Talk about that. Don't just move on. No, it's my second, third house. Oh wow, that's amazing. So you have 2 other properties, 2 additional, 2 rental properties? Like, no, actually I lost my other house. Really? What? Let me ask you. I know back in 07, 08, man, there was a lot of people lost their homes, and you know, it's like, yeah, I lost. Talk about their pain. I lost my house in 07, 08. Not me, but the client saying, yeah, I lost my house in 07, 08. I lost it all. I'm just rebuilding again. people who have lost, right? People have, when it comes to loss, guess what happens when they reinvest again in the future? When they reinvest in improvements, they're gonna be more careful, they're gonna be more cautious, because they made bad decisions. Sometimes they're bad decisions, sometimes just, right, finances may be changed, but they made decisions that, you know, cause that issue, cause that problem. So you're gonna have customers now, they're gonna be a little bit more skeptical, they're gonna wanna take, they're gonna, you know what, I'm looking for 10 bids before I make a decision. Guess what? The more bids, it just tells me that, not every case, but most likely they had a lot of bad experiences. So they're gonna do twice the research, 5 times, right, the information, because they've been through it. They've experienced it before. So this is the reasons why when you ask these questions, it's because the goal is just to make the connection. You're building a relationship. That is what you're doing it. Really. Right? Obviously, yes, of course, they say happy homes, lets me know that, you know, I compliment, right? Wow, that's amazing. Because most people would just party making it with one. I'm trying to make it with one. That's amazing, man, you know. I compliment them on that. Because it is an accomplishment. It's not really, you know, it's not about just a compliment just because, it's genuine, you're touching on their accomplishments. It's a big deal. Something that wife has never complimented on his accomplishments. Great job, I'm proud of you. They've probably never heard that from their dad. I'm proud of you, son. You have 3 homes now. That's amazing. Some of you haven't even heard that before. You know, you just don't. But guess what? When I'm in a house with a 65-year-old man, and he's crying at his table, and he's sharing what his hurts and his things, I was just the person who was listening. I just, you know, listening. I cared enough to be like, you know what, I know what's going on. Right? And it was like, it just bursted, you know, just everything came out. That's the kind of connection you guys want to make. So what is, this is your first time, your first house. The next one would be, obviously you see their house. Most people, when they buy their home, they've done a lot of repairs to their house, right? They've done improvements. You probably can notice maybe the walls are not as nice as they used to be, but you can tell they probably got a new floor, you know, or maybe you see the kitchen cabinets or something. So the next question is, let me ask you this, you have a really nice house, how much have you invested in your house? How much have you invested? What I do is I don't wait for them to tell me. I give them an estimation of what I think they invested. So when I was at a client's house, I'm like, yeah, you seem like you invested just being living room. I'm like, you probably invested a good $50,000, $60,000. Like, oh no, more like 100. They'll give you that number. You can lowball it if you want, but they will always tell you the number. But if you ask it as a salesy way, they might not want to give you the information. You know, if you ask them, well, how much you invested? Like, I don't really know the number. I don't really know. Guess what? They do know. They know how much money they spend in the house. So I asked them, yeah, it seems like you invested over $50,000 in this house, because I know that when you bought this house in Rialto or Lancaster, why did it look like this? Oh no, it was horrible. And it ends up telling you all the issues that the house had. Because in most cases, when people buy a home, they don't find them when they buy the house. They find them a year, 2 years later. They find all these plumbing issues, electrical problems, you know. And they share me all their stories about how that went. I spent $30 grand on electrical. I spent $10,000 for plumbing. You know, there was asbestos, whatever. They'll tell you. Let them tell you what that is. And they'll tell you where it is, 80 or 100 grand. So if someone invested over, doesn't matter if it's 50, if it's 20,000, 100 grand on their home, would somebody put something cheap on their house? They probably have, but I mean, why would somebody put something cheap on their home? Because energy efficient products, what we install, what we sell.
For example, our HVAC compressor and the heat exchange, when let's say two motors of the transmission and the motor of the car, has 9-year warranty. We give the client a 99-year warranty. Think about the kind of quality they're getting. Why would a manufacturer give you 99 years, Michael? Unless what?
It's the best thing on the market.
Unless it's good. Great, right? Nobody will do that. Nobody gives you 99 years. 10 years tops. We give 99 years. They're cool wall, right? Cool roof system. It's a system. 50-year warranty. If you're 65 years old, I'll let them know it's 50 years. For you, it's lifetime. Right now, that's what I was saying. For you, might be lifetime warranties. You know, they laugh about it. You know, but I'm already comfortable. We're comfortable with each other that I can say that to him, and he'll laugh about it, right? He's like, yeah, I find it 50. Yeah, but the great thing is this: is that warranty is transferable one time. So if your kids stay with the home, right? They don't have to deal with this or worry about this anymore. Most cases, parents, not all cases, they don't want to leave their kids with all this debt in their house, all these issues with their home. You know? Yeah, so how much have you invested in your home? The energy efficiency, going back to 9-year warranty, cool roof system, a 6-year warranty. The Cool Wall has a limited lifetime warranty from chipping, breaking, from fading. You know, this is Cool Wall. Typical paint at the store, after 5 years, it starts fading, starts chipping. 7 years, stuff breaks. This is regular paint, top quality paint in the store. After 7 years, you can see the difference. You know. Cool Wall, one more time, and you're done. What else? That's another product. Solar is 25 years. That's another one. And also for solar, there's two that we install on top of solar. We do Canadian, but I focus more on we have Solar World, but the one that I focus a lot is on Qcell. Qcell is Korean. So it's Korean. Made in the States, but it's Korean. It's because what happens with solar, it loses production every year. It loses production. So with the it's called Qcell, it loses very little to no production over time. So for example, like regular solar, it'll lose in 10 years, it can lose up to 50% production. With Qcell, you're losing maybe 10-20%. That's the difference between the type of panel that we put on, the quality panel that we install. Big difference. Right? I mean, we have videos from few, I don't know if I sent this to you, the Learning Channel, whether I don't think I put that one on there, where they're actually on two people on top, like stomping on it, and it doesn't break. They're stomping on the panel, and it doesn't break. It's the quality of the panel. All that stuff is very important. You can go with Solar City, right? Go with anybody else, or you can go with us. Right. I'm missing another one, right? Installations and one. What's the other one? I'm missing another one. Windows, right? I'll show you guys videos later down the line, but next few days. But windows have a lifetime warranty for breaking, basically. So if it breaks, replace it. It also comes with a security glass as well. Those videos show like a bat. It's kind of like almost like a tempered glass, you know, like your car tempered. It doesn't just shatter. It's that type of glass. So better quality, lasts longer. If somebody's just break in, it's gonna take a longer to break in. By the time they break in, everybody's awake and everybody's probably called the cops, and you won't have time to get inside the actual window. Everybody wants security. I have clients that have bars on their windows. They take them off for the very first time. They don't feel like they're locked up in their own home. You know? But it's right, depends on the neighborhood, it doesn't really matter. One of my best friends, a teacher, he was high school, and he was living in Pacoima. And they bought a house in Mission Hills. He had a house in Pacoima, sold that house, moved to Mission Hills. And he said, I should have stayed in Pacoima.
He goes, if I'm home, I never have problems. I leave my door unlocked, never had issues. I moved to Mission Hills. Is known for, he found out this later, is for break-ins. That area was known for more break-ins. A lot of the neighbors have been out broken into. So I should have just had a coin on. Never had a problem. First year I got broken into in Mission Hills. You know. So this is the kind of quality of product that we provide to the customer. This is just a brief snapshot. You know, a lot of people show this video. I'll give them a snapshot of the quality and the warranty, just a brief to kind of keep them like, oh wow. You know, keep them kind of interested. And then obviously I go through these questions after that. You know, how much have you invested in your home? What's another question you can ask? Or my three guys over here, what the question you can ask?
How long are they gonna be there? Do they plan on selling it, or is this a dream home? Like they're gonna stay there?
This is your dream home, right? This is your dream house. Planning to live there, stay there, that's more of a salesman question, right? It's really important, do you really care? Probably not. It's good for you to know because it'll help you close at the end, yes. But if I ask, is this your dream home? You also get the same, you get the answer no matter what, right? You're still gonna get the answer, is this your dream home? Now, one thing I'll tell you though, when it comes to this question, a lot of times you say yes, most cases no, but I can't afford to go anywhere else, so I'm stuck here. That's what happens, I'm stuck. A lot of people are just stuck, might not be their dream house, but they're stuck. You know what, no, actually it isn't. Actually, in the next 10 years, we plan to move back to Florida. Guess what? I'm talking about another 15 minutes, just talking about that goal. Going back to Florida 10 years. It's just all related to building a relationship and building a connection. Every question has to be related to that. If not, you're just gonna ask a question, move on to the next question. And there's no, I mean, might as well even ask a question. It makes no sense. I've known a lot of guys who come into the industries, they ask the right questions, but they don't know how to use them in a way that's gonna help them make the connection and build a relationship with the client. And they don't make it. Because we don't, guess what? We don't drop close. We don't drop prices. We have no haggle policy. A lot of companies go out of business, and we know this because our company had 3 owners, and they all kind of decided to do their own thing before, you know, inside stuff for you guys. You need to know this, but I'm gonna show this anyway. So they had other owners. Guess what? Their prices are selling really low. So what's gonna happen next 5 years, 10 years? They're gonna go out of business because they're putting lower quality products, right? The return on investment is not really there, and it's gonna come with all these power issues and installations, and eventually you're gonna go out of business. And that's some of the problems they're having. Versus, obviously, higher quality is gonna be more upfront, right? You go higher, you pay more, but it's gonna last longer, it's gonna save you more energy. So over time, it'll offset, it can offset over time, right? But a lot of companies go out of business because of that. I had a gentleman here who he's doing really well in our company. He's doing great, amazing. He's doing great. Well, I'll have him speak one of these days. But he came from a company, that's what they did. If you do it today, I'll give you, they start at $30,000 all the way down to like 10 grand. I'm like, that's not, you call it closing? Anybody can do that. Can my son do that all day? You know what I mean? I can, you know, just oversell, and then at the end, just give them what's $10,000. Think about the lack of trust and credibility that you're establishing. You know what I mean? Don't tell your whatsoever. So I have to help him refine that process because he was having a hard time. Well, you know, when they show payments, people can use it as a drop payment. You know, it's like he was suddenly drop, close, you know, and now he's doing well, but he tried to drop close, like drop the price. Like a car salesman, right? Nothing against, you know, but there's great ones out there too, right? They show you, you know, it's gonna be 80 grand or 60 grand, but if you do it today, because as a customer, what I'm gonna say is this. So you mean if I do it next week, you're not gonna give me the discount? What does that do as a customer? What do you think about that, Michael, if I did it to you?
I didn't really hear the question.
If you were the customer, and I'm the salesperson in your home, and I say, if you do it today, I'll give you $5,000 off. But only today.
Why?
I would probably kick them out.
Why? I'm just curious.
'Cause
Why?
It's just a number. They didn't convince me of anything.
So just think about this. You just did all this. Let's say you did all this, 100%. But at the end, we turn out to be. It did not connect, not relate to who you were in the beginning, and at the end, now there's habit process.
Basically, he'll tell me anything to get the sale.
Exactly. You know, we don't drop close here. There's no such thing as drop close in this business. I have a lot of guys who come in this business who have a hard time. What can I I mean, really, they have a hard time because they never learn to build true value. They never learn how to build value. You know, and it was all about price. And price will get you some sales, but not long term. It won't stick long term. It won't hold long term. You have a couple of months here and there, a few weeks here and there, but it won't last long. You know, it will not be long term. You know, I wouldn't be here if it was all based on price book today. You know, I don't want to cheat myself again, but I think in 1 year, I think over close to $1 million, I have not had one cancellation. I had cancellations before when I started, but I've never had in the last year somebody called me the next day or 2 days later before the 3-day cancellation mark, I want to cancel. I haven't had that yet. It's been about a year now. And they can attest to that. The finance manager, they do the financial part of it, right? He said, I don't have that issue. Not because I'm better, but because I take my time, I don't take shortcuts, I build a connection, I build true intimacy with my customer, they trust me, and I believe in our company, I believe in our product, I believe in what we do, I believe and I'm passionate about energy efficiency. Why would somebody want to spend another, 3-4 hours out of their day with another person after I just established that kind of foundation with my customer? In most cases, they don't want to do that. They don't have the time to do that. I have to be wrong, dude. You know what? I love it. I want to move forward. Like, I just need to have one. I just gotta get one more quote. It's like I'm not cool with you. You know what? Let's forget about SafeCal. Forget about me right now. Me and you are gonna continue to talk. You guys move forward now. I mean, he's like a friend already. I mean, you know him so well. You guys can move forward now. We're gonna keep in touch. Right? And just to be able to help you or help someone else a little better next time, let me ask you, what's really holding you back? Like, what is it that's still? And they'll tell me, like, honestly, if it's me, it's okay, and if it's, I'm not trying to convince you, 'cause that's not what I'm here for. You see it. I don't have to convince you. But what's? And they'll tell me. They'll tell me their concern or objection. So this customer's like, you know what, I told my dad I was not gonna move forward unless I talked to him first. I'm like, well, is that the only thing stopping you? I work the same exact way. I mean, in this case, my dad is a little older, so you have to call me first. Before my dad moves forward. It's gonna change a little bit. I go, well, you know what, give him a call. Give him a call, just call him. There's a lot, we've been here for hours, so it's not gonna be able to give all the information to your dad. You probably remember only 10% of that information that I gave him. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be it's not gonna transfer exactly the same way. It won't. So you know what, just call him, or I can reschedule the appointment with your dad. and I'll talk to that. If that makes you more comfortable. You know? I mean, well, let me ask you this, you know me that very well. Let me ask you this, let me ask you 3 things. Just so that I know what's important to you, Dad. Is quality important to you, Dad? Yeah, he's like, this is where I made the sale. Because my grandma, one thing about my grandma, well, there's things that you can pay cheap, and there's things you just don't take shortcuts and accept cheap. And that's your home. This is true, my grandma, that's like how she believed. When it came to her home, I don't go cheap. And he's like, that's exactly how my dad is. Okay. So we agree that most likely he's gonna agree about the quality, he's gonna see the quality of this. Yes. You know. Another one is warranty. He's like, yeah, he told me about the warranty. It's like, make sure there's a warranty. Do you think 99 years is warranty? Of course. Number 3, reputation. We looked on Google, we looked DVD, we looked on Facebook. Is he on Facebook? You know, then I made a story because I didn't see my aunts because my grandma was sick. I didn't see my aunts for about 10 years. And when I left, I go, give me your number, I'll call you. She was like 65 or 67 years old, my aunt. But dude, just give me on Facebook. I started laughing, right? Because everybody's on Facebook now. I mean, she's like almost 70 years old on Facebook. You know? And she started like, she's almost like clowning me basically. Come on. You know? Give me on Facebook. So, and then reputation. So you know that very well. Do you think you'll say no? Would you think that this is not a good decision? A wise investment? Okay, no, I think you move forward. Now, I can give you if you want. I can come back tomorrow. I can come back next week. I can come back next year if you like. Believe me, I don't. To me, if you do it or not, you know, it's okay. He's like, you know what? Let's move forward. Nothing special. I didn't use it crazy, amazingly, you know, crazy. I mean, I know the techniques, closing. I mean, all that stuff, dude. I did it for years. But there was a genuine type of conversation that we're having. You know, he's like, you know what, no, you'll be okay. I want to do it. Like, and then I would have to make sure. Are you sure? Like, I don't want you to. If you think you have to talk to him first, if he's gonna get mad, he's like, no, he's gonna get mad. He just, I just care what my dad thinks. Like, okay. But we move forward anyways. You know, the next day we did a walkthrough. We did a walkthrough with the installer, with the project manager, and with a sales rep, which myself, all 3 will be in the property. The data was there. That was it. He could have still canceled, right? But guess what? When I went to their house, all this is out of the way, and then he started talking about, he introduced me in a way that he knew me forever. Because he knew everything about me. He knew everything about me. His kids are in theater, because my kids are in theater. You know, yeah, you know his son studied to the, my son has to study role at the Union Giant Beach. Right, just ended up, you know, like, I mean, that's the kind of, the reason why I shared that with him is because he was in theater when he was young. His dad wanted to be in theater. So that was a connection with theater, with him. You know, just share, like, and then guess what, when I saw him, first thing is, how you doing, sir? There you go, man, nice to meet you, man. Yeah. Naturally, he gave me a hug too. It's the way that you do it, you know. And that was it. And now I'm talking about how long I've been doing this for, other stuff. Yeah, so wait, so how long did it take you guys finish? Just basic stuff, dude. I spent like maybe 15 minutes on product on that day, that's it. 15 minutes. Now you can choose to, this is where a lot of people fail. You can choose to know everything about products and spend months and months to learn the product. You know? But I'll tell you this much. The homeowner, does he care how it's gonna go through the coil and how it's gonna go through the furnace and how when you switch it it's gonna do this? No. What he cares about is gonna solve my problem. I had a customer that he said, he was incompetent. And he said, in the wintertime, it's really bad, it's really cold. You guys catch that? He lives in LA, and he said winter. We don't have winter. But guess what? Like, how's that? I'm like, that must be very difficult for you. Do you have osteoporosis or? But when it's cold, so then it's difficult because he does have his bone, you know, he has osteoporosis. So when it gets cold, his bones hurt. But to him, it's painful. It's winter. I could have just, you know, not catch it, but I'm like, I gotta know what's going on. You know, he started sharing all about his health issues and him and his wife, and it's difficult, it's hard. How it started, at what age, and that's what I'm talking for like an hour. By the time I'm done, they know my kids, they know my family, they know everyone. I know about his kids, his older son's problems, this guy's divorced, this guy's a knucklehead, my daughter, my grandchildren. I mean, I know everything about my customer, everything. Because we have built a true intimate connection. You know, obviously there's more to it in detail, but this is basically gonna be phase 1. So guess what? Phase 2 is tomorrow. I'm gonna show you just a quick video. What time is it? It's gonna end at 11:30. Perfect. 11:27. So tomorrow I'll show the video about more energy efficiency of renewable energy. But what I want you guys to do is practice this, because I know some of you are saying, I got this. Wait, come on, I can do that, no problem. So when you go to, at the end of the training, I'm gonna have you guys present me or you partner up with somebody else and role play it. And guess what? If this is missing in your presentation, what does that tell you? Tell me or tell you. What does that tell someone?
If you don't got it.
Maybe you got too, but you know, what else? What does it tell you? It tells me you're not in practice, getting over it.
What you do to work on?
It will help you, yeah, of course, but it'll reveal everything. Yeah. It'll reveal it. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be, you know, kind of stumbling, because it's, you know, obviously when you're, you know, in a room and people watching, right? It's nerve-wracking. I get that. I get like that sometimes. It's okay. But if you forget and if you don't know, that means you're not investing the time. You don't convince me, right? You're not putting in the work. You're not going over everything. That's why it's by phases, because you go back, you put the questions down, you role play yourself, making the connection, how to make the connection, ask the question, how to continue asking the deeper questions within that question. Right? The deeper questions within each question. And that I don't write it down. You write it down. Right? At least in your notes. That's why I used to love to auto record, because then I can just go back and I can hear everything and I'm like, oh, okay, okay, let me, you know, apply this, let me use this. And with your personality, right? Everybody is different. So you do it your way, but it comes out naturally. Right? That is the goal. Right? So obviously the Safeco video, we have a channel that we'll add you guys to later during the week that we use Slack. So we post everything on Slack. For now, you can just go on YouTube and click Safeco and you'll see that video. Go back and play yourselves and see what else you get from the video. You know, what I do recommend you do is today, obviously, is to search renewable energy and just learn more about what it does, how it impacts negatively, how the use of energy impacts us negatively. Because unless you believe it, if you don't believe it, you can sell it for you can maybe sell it, but you won't be able to sell it long term if you don't believe in it. You know, one of the things that you know, you probably would know this already, but we always talk about love what you do, right? But people always do the opposite of what they love to do, because why? Because they gotta pay the bills. So they end up doing something else just to pay the bills. Unless you love this, you can make a lot of money doing it, but unless you believe in this, unless you become, you know, unless you believe this long term it might not work.
Mhm.
You know, because when you talk to your customer about this stuff, man, you know, they don't have to know you, but if you share your passion with someone else, man, there's nothing more powerful than that. There's no better connection for transfer of energy than that. You gotta get convicted. It's gotta be your conviction. Because, but I'm just give you some bullet points of how mixed it is. Right? This is just bullet points. I mean, you can go deeper and research it, man, how much more it does for people. And for you, for others. You know? It was funny, I was talking to my son, and he was like, Dad, what do you do again? I think it's the, you know, so when he went to his, my kids are homeschooled, so, not through the system, but, not system, but publicly, but through a private type of, and he's doing a show and tell. And he says, yeah, my dad is saving the world. That's what my son is saying. Oh, yeah, my dad sees the world for a living. But that's what I believe that to my son that, like, that's what it does. Like, that's what it does. And my daughter and my 20-year-olds, they know what I do, and you know, why I love it. You know, but it's true. I believe that. I believe, and the facts are there, that yes, if we go energy efficiency, if a home is converted into energy efficient home, yes, you're reducing the carbon footprint. Yes, right? That's a positive impact that it's doing. So I will never pressure anyone, but I am going to be persistent with someone because I know what it's going to do for them and for others. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about phase 2, and we're going to go over some of the, we also do a mold test, a mold treatment for our customers. Because more than 70% of homes have mold. You know, some are not toxic, some are toxic. But a lot of these homes, if they're built before 1980, right, all these older homes, they've had leaks before. You know, there's moisture, humidity, there's mold. Guess what? A lot of people are breathing it. They don't even know it. And we provide the service at no additional cost to the customer. It's part of our service that we provide. We believe that. You know, the owner was a victim of mold. His family was a kid. Other people who are also in the same field as us ourselves, who were a victim of mold. You know, but unless we educate them on it, they won't know. Mm-hmm. Unless you educate them on the planet and why you're passionate, they won't care. You know, sometimes I'll show the video, and I had a client, she was an environmentalist. Oh my gosh, she's like talking about green, you know, I mean, just talking about it. I love what you guys do. I had other guys come over for windows too. They were just selling me windows. 2 years, she was shopping to get windows done. An environmentalist. I don't have to be smarter than the person, but she just knows my passion. You know, you talk about people who are passionate and make a difference in the world, right? Whoever you read about, they were passionate in what they did. You know. So, any questions? That's about it today, guys. 9 o'clock. Be here tomorrow. Don't be late. Get my number down. Write this down real quick. Oh, you know, I'll link it right here. 318 720 3137. If anything comes up, JR, thank you, but no thank you. I'm not coming back. It's all good. You can do that too. But make sure you guys are on time. Don't be late. You know, if you're late to your training to a new job, to your career, you're gonna be late to make money. I mean, that's it all. Right. So, any questions or anything else? What's your name, by the way?
Mike.
Mike. Okay, cool. All right, I didn't get your name right there. So that's about it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, JR.